go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, September 14th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market and the stock market as the stock market sets to open right now. Of course, we'll take a look over here at the Bitcoin price chart, the XRP price chart, the altcoin market. As we can see, everything is in the green today. Stock market having a good morning to start the day off as well. We had some inflation data come out today that came in hotter than expected. Market doesn't care. Market's ripping. DXY took a little bit of a pop this morning, but it seems to have not sustained that momentum of the pop that it did have, and crypto and stocks are crushing it this morning. So we're off to a good start today for a Thursday. Of course, as we all know, next week is Fed week. It's where it's still anticipated. Let's see, I haven't refreshed this in a little while. Let's take a look here. What does the market expect? 97% chance still that the Fed is going to pause. And what do you know? We got Bitcoin at 26,741 as we start our morning, and the stock market opens up today. So nice pop over here in Bitcoin. This is the highest price we have seen for Bitcoin since August. So nice to see some action. So here we are in up September so far, as we experience capitulation happening back there on September 11th. So just excited to see this definitely moving in here. I think we'll be paused out here for a bit, maybe, this whole range area in here. But if I could make a reference to the similarity of this whole thing, just very similar to what it was like back in September and October of 2020 before things got really exciting in the market. Just structurally the same, capitulation the same, fear and greed index showing that the fear that we had in this moment, the capitulation that occurred during this moment, was similar to like the fear levels were that of like when we were in FTX. Absolute fear and capitulation happening in there. Of course, still maintaining that support and price bouncing its way out of there. As we've discussed, we've gone through crashing structures. We've gone through everything on here. Nice to see price still continuing to hold some momentum happening in there. I think that was right through the 200. The 200 moving average on the 4 hour. So there you go. A little bit of a break happening there for Bitcoin. Still unconvinced that this thing's going to go in a straight line up. But definitely giving lots of the signals of the low. So excited to see that happening for Bitcoin, for sure, with how much fear we had in here just recently. Looking over at the U.S. stock market, as the stock market opens, the Dow is up 144 points, up 0.42%. The S&P 500 is up 23 points, which is 0.52%, and the NASDAQ is up 66 points, which is 0.43%. Mostly green over here. You can see the winners of the day so far are going to be your Coinbase. It's the leader up there with GE and Roblox. Losers of the day are your Netflix, Amazon, and Ford. All right, back to crypto. See if there's what order we want to go in here. We'll do these things because I always forget to do these in the beginning. Of course, you can follow me over here on Twitter at BCBacker or x.com at BCBacker. This is my only active social media. I'm not active on Instagram. I'm not active on whatever the other ones are. WhatsApp, Telegram, any of them. Threads, none of them. This is it right there, BCBacker. Of course, check out bcbacker.com for more educational content from me. Over 40 videos, plus over 11 hours of content at your fingertips right here on bcbacker.com. For the last few days, it's been a little difficult making content because I'm so convicted on where we are. I know there's such a huge consensus of fear. I know that the market is super wrong-footed right now. Participants are super wrong-footed. And I feel like I can only scream at the wall or argue with a tree so much on being like, look, holding this low has been the most critically important thing to happen in here. And we hold the low, and then you see capitulation happen in the market with the low holding. It's such a classic sign to see that happen there. Pretty much just we have to kind of wait for price action to prove it all, and until sentiment swaps around, because I can scream at it all I want. I've been screaming for this, the whole time. And I have a lot of metrics I can look at on my side. You could see that that's not the consensus of the market. You could see where you get more thumbs downs on your video or more thumbs up on your videos. To be a bull down here has not been favored. Way more thumbs downs on videos to do that. You could see engagement over there on Twitter. You see everything. The herd is so swung in that direction, and I can scream it all I want. I could show everything we need to, but the masses have certainly become in the capitulation camp that we are going lower. And having gone through 2020, and I know there's a lot of people around who went through 2020 and can reflect on what it was like before the run really started, before the excitement started, which I think is like what we're lining ourselves up for with the stock market, lining ourselves up for crypto, like this couple of months of really fun and crazy action happening in here. But what there was something nearly identical to this. And it really shook the market out. It shook participants out of the market right at something like this, where it was in this range. It didn't set a new low. And then the market ripped and left all those people behind. They all had to buy much higher. But by the time prices are higher, your percentages are totally wrecked. I could only scream that so much. So, just waiting for prices to play out. Unfortunately, we're still seeing it now. The prices are the highest we've seen since August, and holding in there quite well. And look at other time frames to see how this thing is doing in here. Yeah, you got your bullish divergence on your capitulation, right, on the daily time frame. So wonderful to see. And like I said, the fear and greed index even hit fear levels of the fear was more fear. If you didn't notice what we saw on Monday, that fear was higher than the banking crisis in March. There was more fear in this market that day than that one. So there you go. And what's the market doing after you get that much fear? Right back up. So, okay. Stock market. How are we doing now that we're continuing to be open? We can see that the Dow is up 157 points. You can see the Nasdaq's up 55 and the S&P is up 22. So we're up about a third of a percent to 0.5% throughout the indexes over here in the stock market, getting the day going. Everybody's still waiting for the big day coming next Wednesday to see what the Fed has to say. XRP still dancing along, waiting for a move to hold. Still just kind of stuck underneath this little resistance happening right here at about 48.5 cents. It just won't crack through there. My suspicion is if we can get through 48.5, we'd actually see a bigger pop happen for XRP. Till then, it's just waiting for something to emerge happening in here. As we've been tracking along, I still believe that was the completion. We're just waiting for the accumulation range to come to a conclusion. Everybody capitulated the market back over here. Now it's time for them all to come YOLOing back in. Once prices get higher, then they say, oh no, I've been left behind. It's time for me to buy back in. I think that's the next phase. All right. Dow, we've already covered you. DXY took a little bit of a pop because today we got PPI data. So PPI is going to be your producer price index. Yesterday we got CPI, which is our consumer price index. But PPI is going to be the producer price index, which measures the change in the price of goods sold by manufacturers and is typically the leading indicator of consumer price inflation. So this is what companies are like paying for their goods, right? And then that gets marked up, of course, to go to the end consumer. So we measure what, consumer price index is going to be, what are the consumers paying? Producer price index is what are the producers, paying? What are they paying the manufacturers? And we saw that there was a surprise today. It was higher than expected. And that the expectation was around, let's see, I'll get it. The month-over-month expectation was 0.4%, came in at 0.7%. The year-over-year expectation was 1.2%, came in at 1.6%. And for core was right on point, 0.2 month-over-month, which was expectation, and then year-over-year 2.2. That was in line with expectation. So core was fine. It was just the producer price index came in a little bit hot, but still we're up 1.6%. 1.6 year over year. So those are looking okay, but that 0.7%, string together a few of those, that's not a good sign. So we'll see what happens with that. Otherwise, even with the higher PPI numbers coming in here, market does not seem to be phased in regards to the Fed's behavior. Still expecting 97% probability that the Fed is going to be pausing next Wednesday. On that, when that news came out today, you saw like an immediate pop up happening here in the DXY, but the DXY has seemed to have lost its momentum after that, and stocks have been rallying. So there wasn't some ultimate fear of panic to escape markets on that. It seems like there was an initial reaction. However, markets are not responding accordingly to what they're supposed to be, right? They're supposed to be scared. They're not. So, all right. Gold has been continuing to move down. Still hasn't taken out the recent low set back there in August, but continuing to move down. Of course, these are things that we would want to see happening in here in order to be cheering for the stock market to continue going on a rise, which so far, so good. They are inverse related. I know that there's been a lot of debate about that. I've done newsletters, videos, live streams, everything showing the correlations between that. Seeing gold pull back is a good thing for stocks, and eventually, when the stock market does fall, this will be all eyes over here on gold to see if gold goes off into a new bull run. It's one or the other. It's not both. So seeing this pull back, a positive sign, while we still see the Dow continuing to march. So excelente. And really next week is our big week. So hopefully it's next week that we actually do get our way to break out of this range. So we had talked about it last week. Like last week was kind of a rough pullback week. We had said, well, this week looking to see things kind of start to recover, right? And well, we have seen that so far, right? Here is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just kind of drifting back to the upside, waiting for next week. I think that's what the whole market's waiting for. But this is still my base case. I still think we're going to see an exciting time come from stocks, and then an exciting time come for crypto at the exact same time. But the thing to remember in the event of this occurring is even on here, it's showing it would only last a few months. And you can go look at your favorite altcoin. You can go look at Bitcoin. How long bull runs really last, right? Oh, that looks like such a long bull run. First of all, everybody was still a bear right here, just like we are here. Okay, everybody was still a bear right here. Once this thing really started taking off, the amount of time for the actual bull run, I'm still getting used to this. Okay. The actual time for the real run, right? That's 140 days. The vast majority of it was done in 121 days. That was really the whole thing right there. I had completed my 65% exit of Bitcoin already right here in February. 58,000 was where I finished. So you can see this from a time duration standpoint, not lasting forever. If we get something really exciting, just kind of recognizing that was the bulk of the bull run. Everything else here was chop, right? Nothing else. So to just kind of remember that too, even if things get exciting, just because you finally recognized it, right? Like that's what happened here. Once we got going and I started selling out here, the story was, how could it be over? It just started. I heard that so many times. How could it be over? It just started. And that's because there was fear. No more fear. We're not fearful anymore. Wait, fear. Okay, I'm not fearful anymore. Okay, it's over. and that's just how it goes. So keeping that in mind. If you caught what I posted over there on Twitter, of course, I'm still very critical of the idea of us going to 12K. I'm critical of us even setting a new low happening in here. As you guys know, my thoughts have been that we get a retrace out of Bitcoin. That's probably all we're going to end up getting out of this thing. But even to this point right now, my idea is not validated. Like my idea that we're just going to go into a retrace, that's going to be it. Macro is going to take over and this thing is going to plunge down and we're not going to have enough juice in Bitcoin to get into an all-time high in something like this. My idea is still not valid because Bitcoin is still following precisely what it should do for Fourier cycle theory or for cycle theory. And I think there's so much misinterpretation. It just boggles my mind that Fourier cycle theorists, block reward halving theorists can think there's any remote chance that Bitcoin goes and sets a new low. It is following precisely on track for those who were here all of 2019, 2020, and 2021 of how we had gone on to complete this. You see everybody pointing back to 2020 saying, hey, we got to repeat this. We got to do the C19 crash. And it's just, no. This was wave 4 consolidation as we had in here. Look, stretch this out. Hey, check it out. There's your 2018 through 2020 consolidation. And then what does it do? It goes on for a 4.236 extension, right? That's what you have, right? What do you have here? You have wave 4 consolidation to go on for 4.236 extension. So we're not going to repeat that. This is very similar to what happens when we come to the conclusion. And let me show you this too for cycle theorists. Yes, I have eaten today. No, I'm not a jerk entirely. Only 50% today. I really want more of that. Okay, there we go. Right, so that this was the completion. Right, here's your consolidation. There's your crash, retrace, reaccumulation, go, right? That's what we do here, guys. So what consolidation should we be looking for at the end of a super cycle? You should be looking at what it looks like when you start something new, right? And that would be this, not wave 4 consolidation of crash, retrace, reaccumulation, go. How many people are pointing to this saying, we have the big crash coming? No, it's not appropriate to do that here. You would be looking for something similar to this to be happening in here. And what do we know? We have all those markings happening in here. The thing that has thrown everybody off is the high that was set here, even though structurally they're the same, right? All the indicators underneath the hood, all the on-chain behavior, everything, even the behavior acting like right here is the same on-chain behavior of what was happening right in here. And so even with me being like, hey, I think we're just going to do a retrace and that's really going to be all we're going to get out of Bitcoin in the event of a move happening like this for the DAO, I'm still not proven right. If anything, it's screaming, we're starting a new super cycle. And the point I'm trying to make with this is how much screaming there is on Twitter for 12K, or that we have to do the C19 crash back to the lows. I think it's biasness. I think it's capitulation. I think it's people sold out of fear. They want it. They want to buy the cheaper prices. They want to feel like they've gotten it. Instead of selling during a euphoric moment, they waited until a liquidation happened. They watched the market liquidate. They felt the fear. They sold the lows. They want to see that happen because they're just sidelined. And I think we have a lot of sideline money right now waiting for something like that to happen. But the cold, hard reality is this thing still holds true. So until proven otherwise, the actual case, the actual theory here is not C19. That's just pointing to the last one and saying we're going to do that. If anything, if you want to point to anything from the past that you have, it's that occurring right here. And if you weren't here during that, the same exact thing that happened this week happened here. Totally, magotally. But then things took off and got insane. And so, right, that would just give you a couple months of craziness. A couple months of craziness. I think all of that aligns much more. So, all right, that's all I got. I feel like that's all I got in regard to this topic. I feel like I've kind of beaten that with a stick. So it's been a little bit more difficult recording content, just kind of waiting to be proven right. And until then, we're going to have a bunch of people sidelined. And every dollar this thing goes up here for Bitcoin is more pain. Right? So, is what it is. Oh, I bought Bitcoin yesterday, by the way. Forgot to tell you that. Fresh capital entered into the market yesterday. All right. DXY, pop on PPI data. Again, the big number to be watching is going to be 106, making sure it doesn't exceed 106. As for gold, continuing down. Very good. Why buy Bitcoin? Why buy Bitcoin? Very good question. Very good question. The rules are ridiculously simple here. I can go balls to the walls as much as I want here and set a stop at the new low. Everything in crypto, right, in Bitcoin's trends indicate higher lows, right? We've maintained it. We've completed a crashing structure. If that low gets taken out, I can exit. It's just that simple. Very simple rule set to follow here. Yeah, here's what's sent too. So if you saw me post about it on Twitter, here you go too. So this is obviously the same range that you consolidated in 2015, and the timing of the peaks, right? The timing of the next set of peaks, the timing of the peak right before everything went crumbling down to the ground, the timing of when they broke from their ranges at the same time, and then now you're in the same range here for the market cap of Bitcoin. Just another thing to kind of show you. This range should be holding, right? If this is a continuation bull trend happening here for Bitcoin, this will need to hold. That's why it's it was such an easy buy with such an easy rule to exit if you take out that low. You had all the markings of the low happening in there when it comes to price action, and especially when it comes to capitulation. I know myself. I know my own feelings. I know when it feels really capitulatory. Just because I can control my emotions doesn't mean I don't feel the same things everybody else feels. I can look on Twitter. I can see the sentiment out there. I can see the behavior of everybody. I could see respected people in the community. Like I said, Ryan Selkis was totally nailing it, saying, I'm fighting my existential depression in the heat of this moment to buy it. And he had like the picture of Randy Marsh from South Park. Like, I didn't hear no bell. And I thought it was just... What a brilliant display by Ryan Selkis to totally understand this market. There's very few people I see in this market that totally get that. And most people, they do the same thing. You know, you see the liquidation, everybody calls for 12K. I see people do that left and right. And then when prices move up, of course, we're going to be talking about all-time highs, right? So like I've just stuck with the whole retrace thing the whole time, right? But have you guys noticed the change of what happens the way people ask me questions? We're going to 12K. We're going to $1 million. We're going to 12K. We're going to new all-time highs. Do you remember the mockery that was happening towards me in here? Maybe you don't, but BCB, really, you only think we're going to go into a retrace. That's what happened here, right? And then, no, we're going to 12K. You think we're only going to go into a retrace? What's wrong with you? Do you not know anything? Okay, we're going to 12K. Right, so next one up, same thing. The FOMO buy, but this one had real capitulation. I don't think this one really had too much capitulation, except you did get the SEC to like attack right in here. This one, you didn't really have a narrative, except that you had like the FTX narrative. And let me ask you this, like, right? If you think that you have alpha, about thinking, ooh, FTX is now allowed to start dumping, so I'm going to front run them. Do you not think prices moved down already with other people knowing that way ahead of you? Do you not think the big boys knew that way ahead of you? And then maybe they just started pushing it all on Twitter, like at the lows, to get you to dump at that time out of fear? Like you were going to front run it because you got all this alpha that hundreds of thousands of other people are seeing on Twitter? I'm just saying. Man, I'm spicy today, right? Feisty and spicy. All right, let's move on to the news. Okay, otherwise, look, Bitcoin's holding the lows, rock and roll, baby, right? Nothing else to say, except I think we saw the market get shaken out. I think people are going to constantly be shaken out, and I think they'll all have to come pouring back in sooner or later. I think we're going to watch the 12Kers start to hedge their calls pretty soon. That's what they always do. They come in here, and then they start 12K-ing at the lows. Then they start hedging their calls. And then it breaks out and says, see, I was right. Meanwhile, I got to take it on the chin for calling it BS the whole time. All right. XRP still chilling. Dow up 183 points to get the day going. Again, this is one of these things too, right? The reverse repos, if it wants to load today. There it is. The reverse repos are just absolutely in blunder town. Crumble, crumble, crumble. Put you on the daily. We'll hide everything. There you go. Don't worry, guys. It doesn't mean anything. So there you go. Where it all takes off, where the end of the market comes, where the peak of it all happens at, boom, and then reversal, and then it's just still continuing to crumble and crumble and crumble. And here we are. So, okay. Excellent over there for Bitcoin. Great to see prices moving up today. XRP still just in struggle bus. Really needs to get above 48.5 cents. I think 48.5 cents is the breakout level if we can get through it. The Dow Jones Industrial Average absolutely killing it today. Not worried about PPI data at all, up 0.5%. Looks like the NASDAQ is one of the ones that is struggling. It's about even, sitting right at about flat. The S&P is still up 1/3%, which is kind of what we saw yesterday. We saw the Dow down, but we saw NASDAQ up yesterday. So, all right, there you go. Caterpillar, Coinbase, and GE are your leaders, with Netflix, Amazon, and Ford being your losers of the morning. And DXY now starting to gain some of that steam back in there after the initial pop after the producer price index this morning. 106 is the big number to watch over there on the DXY. Till then, we're just kind of twiddling our thumbs on it right now as it's working its way back up here. Gold moving down, good for stocks. And let's hop into the news. August wholesale inflation rises 0.7%, which is hotter than expected. Stock futures climb as Wall Street eyes another inflation report. Okay. European Central Bank hikes rates to record level as inflation risks outweigh economic gloom. So the ECB did raise by 0.25% or 25 basis points today. U.S. crude oil prices topped $90 a barrel for the first time since November of 2022. ECB hikes interest rates in 10th salvo to quash inflation. Treasury yields spike after data. German debt hasn't been this appealing relative to cash in years. Okay. China cuts bank reserve requirements to aid fiscal stimulus. Crypto miners debate $500,000 Bitcoin fee refund for Paxos for a fat finger. I just don't think we have anything to talk about out here in the crypto world, and this is the only thing we can figure out to talk about. Three Arrows founder hit with a 9-year trading ban in Singapore. Phishing attack on the cloud provider with Fortune 500 clients. Okay, there's nothing going on in crypto news. Coinbase CEO champions for DeFi. Bitcoin ignores all of the FUD, the CPI, the FTX, and the price continues to rise in September as we have a positive September. Our DAOs overhyped and unworkable. Meta ruined the term metaverse, but now it's evolving. Bitcoin ETF optimist and WorldCoin skeptic. Okay, here's what happened in crypto today. Why is Bitcoin up today? Why is the crypto market up today? Why is Ether up today? Of course, the things everybody wants to know. They keep these titles here and they just change the word up and down and then just change some random wording in here. They know you're going to click on this stuff. All right, you see over here, you got the 97% chance of a rate pause happening in there. And then, of course, the big giant news, of course, is that in front of Mexican Congress, some aliens were presented in front of them. Now, of course, I've done very thorough investigations on this, and I can confirm for you with absolute certainty this is the most remarkable thing ever, except for the fact that it's a big giant hoax. They're totally fake. They got debunked years ago. If you haven't, I remember I had seen those before, especially those like circular ribs that they showed there. I had seen that before, and there's definitely the total thing's totally been debunked. It's like somebody pulled up some mummies in Peru, some babies, and put all of the bones together and cut thumbs off and all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, they're totally fake. If you even think for half of a second that they're real. So that's what happened in Mexican Congress yesterday. All right. Otherwise, Bitcoin up today, crypto up today, DXY up today, stock market up today. Gold and silver are down today as PPI, producer price index inflation, came in hotter than expected. Market still prices in 97% probability that the Fed will pause next Wednesday. That's the big thing of the week. Typically, lots of volatility surrounding before and after and during that. Of course, we will live stream that on Wednesday. I believe that's at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll confirm that for you when we get a little bit closer. But as always, we do markets in the morning, and we'll live stream that one as well, where I shut my yap and we just listen to Jerome Powell do really hard swallows right on camera. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the chat, you guys. It's a good day in crypto. I mean, if you want to just keep it simple. Hey, market's green. Good day. Stock market's green. Rock and roll. What's the stock market up now? 238 points for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's go. Good day. All right, Andy Philpott, hit the like button to support the algorithm. Andy, thank you for reminding me. If you could, that's the number one way to support the channel, guys. If you could hit the like button. Matt Eanes, member for 4 months. Happy 36th birthday to me. Thank you, BCB, for having our back. I hope you all have a great day. That's awesome. Happy birthday, Matt. Thank you for the support. And everybody, he says, what's up? Oscar Hernandez, my dude, super sticker. Thank you, brother, of the boxing gloves. I was messaging Eric this morning and just being like, is it going to be a day where I'm like ranting? I'm spicy. I didn't eat until 10 minutes before the stream, so I don't know if the food had enough time to kick in. Maybe we're starting to have it kick in now. Maybe I'll calm down. Oscar says, pew, pew, hit the like. Thank you, Oscar. Projecting a $9 XRP if Bitcoin retraces to 40K. Sure hope so. It's 4.236 extension on the market cap. Thank you, flagrantly obtuse. John Costco. Hey, BCB, check out BLX over WM2NS. It's Bitcoin over W2 money chart. When it bottoms in the same 12K area on Bitcoin USD. All right, we'll look at it. Bitcoin. Oh, we're looking at Brave New Coin. BLX over WM2NS. Yeah, this is where 12K callers are calling for, right? This area right here. They've already got it there. Yeah, it's funny because I've been looking at right. I get it. Not as high, a little bit lower. But, look at the behavior of DXY changes in these different time periods, right? It's the same behavior and it's the same capitulation. If that story is not being told to you on how everybody capitulated this market back in here, I think next week what I'm going to do too, I'm going to go back and go through a lot of my videos from back in here. And if you want to, you can too. Go back to September through October. It's only 1 month. September, really the whole month of September in 2020. And if you think, like I said yesterday, I was like, if you think I'm being a jerk and I'm like, 12K stuff is done. It's because we had the same thing here, but the number wasn't 12K, the number was 4K. And it was exactly the same. Nothing has changed about me. Exactly the same as we were back here. They were all screaming for 4K and the market capitulated. There was polls that were done at this time. Like over 50% of participants believed that we were going to 4K before we were going to the upside. I bet if we conducted a poll right now, it's probably the exact same. Over 50% of the participants think we're going at least to the lows. I'd guess at least to $20,000 first before any type of move up. But it was precisely the same. Caught by surprise. I remember this. This all came caught by surprise. Most of the market didn't see it coming. It happens in a blink of an eye, just like we kind of had happen over here with this liquidation that took place. But again, holding those lows. So yeah, I don't know particularly about this chart, but your point is to say this, right? Your point is to say, like, this is where we got to. This is where 12Kers are calling for, right? I think that's where it is, right? So where is it? It's after that first initial breakout to right in there, right? You can see how it works through that support. Let's see. that would essentially be that level right there. 13. So pretty close. Okay. Thank you, John. Oscar Hernandez, do you have any link in your bag? If so, what's your plan on it? Thanks in advance. I think that's thanks in advance. Or TA. For me with link, I do have some link. So some of the things I like to look at, of course, are the developer reports, right? To see who still has active development on them. Chainlink is one of the ones that still has active development on them. Let's go look at sentiment real quick, too. Just going to pull up their Twitter posts. It's the easiest one to get to. Here you go. Okay. Here are your top 10 crypto assets by development activity and their notable GitHub commits for the past 30 days. So who's been the most active in the last 30 days? Polkadot, KSM, ADA, Cardano, right? Chainlink, number 4. Hedera, number 5. Vega Protocol, SNT, status, right? Cosmos, ICP, and Filecoin. Those are your top 10 most actively developed on, most commits, most updates being made to. So there you go. So Chainlink's in my bag. Watching the lows. Just did a hard swallow. Sorry about that. Drinking some coffee. I don't drink coffee very often, but I'm drinking it today. But yeah, there you go. Those are your most active ones. So this would be good to, if you're going to use developer report, to see who's also like, the market in general is losing developers right now. And we haven't had an update to the developer report since June. So like you can go look at, what's the average like loss, at least in the market. I believe it's like 16% down on full-time developers. Maybe look at stuff that's like exceeding that, doing better than that. Maybe hard to find I think it's hard to find a whole lot that exceed. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe we can do this. Here we go. If you're watching this, you're getting some free data. Okay, developer activity. 1 year. Who's in this list that's up year over year? Okay, Hedera, right? Hedera, most active, 5th most active commits, also up year over year on developers. That's a really good sign. Problem, 50% inflation rate. That's a problem. Cosmos, flat, year over year, full-time devs and part-time, but they have a lot of them. 8th most commits. Chainlink, negative 5% year over year on full-time devs, but plus 11% on total devs. So remember, the market average is like negative 16% on full-time and like negative 25% on full. So Chainlink's significantly beating the market average. And we'll have to see how it turns around when the whole market can kind of pull back up. To kind of show you the chart of full-time devs. This is what full-time devs looks like in the cryptocurrency market, but the last time this was updated was in May. So we don't know what June, July, or August looked like yet. Right? Here's new commits, new repos by month. They were way down, right? So the challenge in this current environment is that we're not in a position where we're starting to kind of recover it all yet. Maybe we have, but we haven't seen the data yet to see if we've started recovering in regards to developer interest. But yeah, so that's what you got. Did I lose? There it is. Let's see if I have status in here. I don't know if I do. No. So Hedera, the best developer growth. Best developer growth. The thing is, they've increased in full-time devs, but decreased in all devs. So up 31% full-time, down 31% all. Did they have like a hackathon or something like that that maybe increased that part-time stuff? It's possible. I'm trying to see who else on this list is okay. The problem with Filecoin, like we've talked about, they have over a 100% inflation rate. Hard to fight against a 100% inflation rate. Essentially, you lose 3% of your value at 100%. Or at the inflation rate that Filecoin goes at, essentially just by holding it, you lose practically 3% every single week versus the market cap. The market cap of Filecoin could stay flat, but you would lose 3% due to inflation, tokenomics. So in the most recent developer report, Cardano down 18% in regards to full-time devs versus the market average of 16. Now, the thing that's interesting about that is you go back to the previous, so right there's Cardano at number 3. You go back to the previous one, where are we? Cardano was up 7%. So you went from, it's a pretty big jump and change. You go from plus 7% to being down 18. So I would want to see the next developer report because I just don't buy that that's accurate, that you'd go from a plus 7% change to a negative 18% change year over year for developers on Cardano. And to see this much activity on Cardano. Also, I've been seeing other data come across on X.com showing that the NFT ecosystem on Cardano is still thriving way above even Ethereum, that the floor price of Cardano NFTs are holding up way better, like 25% better than what you're seeing over there, even on Ethereum, which of course is the big mamma jamma of this entire market. Okay. Anyway, I just went on a long rant about that. What was your question? Link. I don't know. I think I answered your question. Gator with 5 BCB memberships. Thank you, brother. And Andy Philpott coming in hot with 5. Man, I thank you guys. I appreciate it. Russell Rod says, Bitcoin held its support, but ETH lost it and created a lower low. Was it more important that Bitcoin held it, but not so much for ETH and others? We actually went into this for about 15 minutes in yesterday's market in the morning. Go check out yesterday's market in the morning. We went all through like Wyckoff accumulation schematics that we have very clear behavior for Bitcoin and rules Bitcoin has followed for over a decade. Whereas for Ethereum, you're in a complete ranging context, right? With Bitcoin, you've exceeded your range. You're building supports on top of your range, as we did in here. All breakouts, all timings, all everything are the same. So you have a very clear kind of set of rules happening in here. But we went through the anatomy of a trading range yesterday. We went through Wyckoff accumulation, schematic 1 and schematic 2, discussing Ethereum. So go watch yesterday's market in the morning. That's like super deep dived in that markets in the morning. Baby Oscar Hernandez, happy Milky Day all. Will XRP still go over $10? I think the math on it makes it hard to get to 10 now. I think now that you're a couple months in, I think you're probably in the 9s now. A 4.236 extension on the market cap is probably in the 9s. Jeff Dubai. Hey, BCB, did I hear right yesterday you don't think a new Bitcoin all-time high will happen? How could the alt season play out without a Bitcoin all-time high and retrace? Do you expect a proper bull run like 2017? If so, what speculative date range? Oh, geez. Jeff. Are you new to the channel, Jeff? You got to be new, bro. I've literally said retrace for years. years. And that if you look at when the altcoin market happens, it happens during excessive euphoria, including either breaks into new all-time high, so either the crack of the new all-time high or into the retrace. So if we see altcoin euphoria happening into a retrace right in here, that's it. That's telling you the story clear as day. Bitcoin, no new all-time high. If the altcoin market is still silent and Bitcoin works its way back up, it's actually a much higher optimistic probability for Bitcoin to go into a new all-time high. Because whenever we reach excessive euphoria in Bitcoin and we're approaching the end and market participants don't feel they can get much more out of Bitcoin, they go chasing yield elsewhere. So whenever we see the yield chasing happening into the mid caps and then the low caps, that's the mark of the end for Bitcoin. And typically the top is actually already in for it. But yeah, into a retracement. My theory is that macro will take the headwinds. Macro will take the sale out of Bitcoin. But you know, if this plays out, it would give you a few months. We'll see what Bitcoin does during that. But I've had the same thesis all along. And like I've even said, like for the 4-year cycle theorists, for the 4-year block reward having theorists, I've done the hard work for you. You're interpreting your own data wrong. I'm telling you, your theory is still valid. But you're misreading your market. You're thinking you've got to go down here. You don't. You need to hold this floor. If you hold this floor, your 4-year cycle theory, your block reward halving theory, all your stuff is fine and it's valid and you're good and all is well in the universe. But you're not reading it right. Your emotions are taking over control of you and you don't understand what's happening with your asset. As long as you're holding in here, you're okay. If you break here, you're royally effed. Yeah. Otherwise, the cold hard reality is my thoughts of retrace. I'm telling, while all the 4-year cycle theorists are screaming that we got to go down, I'm literally telling you guys the 4-year cycle theory, and I don't even consider it 4-year cycle theory because this was three years and 4 months, guys. The last cycle was 3 years and 4 months. Anybody notice that? No one noticed it. It was a 3-year and 4 month cycle. It was not 4 years. Just saying. But the corrective thing for us to go off into a new bull run, you're actually valid. You're valid to go right off into the sunset from here, and everything is fine. And so far, as long as this keeps playing out, I'm technically wrong that I think we're going to retrace and that's going to be the end of it. That this argument in here, it's still on track. It's still on pace. It's still behaving precisely as it should, right where it should. Like the 4-year bulls, the block reward havers should be mega raging bulls. They're just not reading their own data right. So we'll see. But my thoughts are that macro will take the wind out of the sails. But that'll all depend once we start setting a new lower low. The second the Dow sets a new lower low, for me, that's the mark of doom. And I will be screaming from the top of my lungs the day we get there, but we're not there. And so I'm not going to sit there and jump in with the whole herd of, we're going to 12K because I'm scared. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Big Shroom, thank you for showing up every day and bringing the heat. BCP. I know, now I'm just being a jerk, dude. Food, kick in. Coffee, kick in. I guess I'm so passionate about it. That's what I was texting today, too. I'm so passionate about it because it's so blatantly obvious. And the market doesn't see it. And, you know, in the end, you know, I want to help everybody. I can't. I know that I can't because people will scream at me, I'm an idiot at the top. People will scream at me, I'm an idiot at the bottom, and you can't help everybody. The only thing I can try to do is shake really hard. Wake up, open your eyes, use your brain. And sometimes that's the only thing that works. I can't coddle you, right? I can just shake you. All right. Big Shrimp. Which one, Zcash or XMR for fundamental reasons? Privacy. Hard one, man. The technical gold standard of them all is XMR. I own about an equal amount of both. But, you know, I follow Masari report, right? Of course, you saw Barry Silbert and Grayscale. Zcash was like his thing all year, right? Last year, nothing happened. which sucks because if you guys don't know this, Mana was Barry Silbert's thing too. He was screaming about Mana at 2 cents. Nobody would buy it, and then at $5, everybody bought Mana. It was remarkable. But Ryan Salkis, the Masari report, right? They're all super into Zcash from a privacy standpoint. So that's really where I'm isolated to. I'm isolated to Zcash and I'm isolated to Monero. Monero is considered the gold standard of them all. Even reports from way back in the day, from years ago, 2018, I was reading lots of reports on crypto projections, and it's predicted that there would be a DeFi movement, but also predicted a privacy movement. And you would still think to this day that privacy would matter. There's absolutely no chance people will use Bitcoin. I'm telling you, no chance. You're not going to give up. You don't pick something worse than what you have, right? What's your trade-off, right? Are you willing to give up inflation for the sake of giving up all privacy of everything you do? Are you willing to give it all up? Are you willing to let everybody track you? The government track you, your neighbors track you, criminals track you, your friends track everything you do with your money. Them see everything you buy, everywhere you buy. You're willing to give that up for the sake of 3.6% annual inflation? No. You just want number go up. That's what you want. But if we're going to use it in any way as real money, it's going to have privacy. So to this day, if there is even a use case for crypto as a form of money and not just like decentralization of assets and tokenization of assets, if we're going to use it as actual money, there has to be the privacy layer to it. So I own both. Pat, my brother. Thank you, Pat. Big Shroom says, do you prescribe to the Austrian School of Economic Theory? I don't know what that is. Let's Google it. Austrian School of Economics. Okay. The Austrian school holds that interest rates are determined by the subjective decision of individuals to spend money now or in the future. In other words, interest rates are determined by the time preference of borrowers and lenders. For example, an increase in the rate of savings suggests that consumers are putting off present consumption and that more resources and money will be available in the future. Yeah. So one other thing for inflation too, right? And so we're talking about saving money, right? And I saw Dylan LeClaire post about this yesterday, and it's just like if you needed the light bulb to go off in your head on why you need inflation and why it's Bitcoin as a form of money struggles, okay, is that one, are you willing to go spend your money anywhere? Are you willing to go spend your Bitcoin on stuff? No, because you want to save it. You want the value to go up. You're not willing to spend it. But if it had higher inflation and it like lost value over time, you would feel more prone to want to go spend it. But because it doesn't, all you want to do is save it. You want to hodl it. You want to hold it. You want to do that. So when it comes to like our currency and our money, when we try to spend it, inflation's baked into it to encourage you to actually spend it. If it gained a bunch of value, all you would do is save it, and you wouldn't go stimulate your economy. So I don't know. I'll have to read more onto that. I can't. I didn't really get the whole grip on it there. Oi says BCB, could you get a look at BNB? And if you watch it on the daily upside down since 2018, it has a crashing structure with the same setup as XRP at November of 2022. BNB, you're still sitting there. We have crashing structure right here, right? So we've been talking about this one, right? There you go. Capitulation again. Doesn't take out the low. We can invert it. Let's see what you're talking about. Yeah, it's pretty scary upside down. But that would pretty much be the doom of BNB, right? If BNB does take out that low, right, 183, yeah, that might be the end of BNB. But this is also how the endings. Let's go get like the altcoin market cap. We'll take all this off the screen. This is how the completion of ranges can happen, right? See, there's the crash, and that's the end of your range. I heard there's feet pics, and I got here as fast as I could. Well, they're not free. You got to sign up for the newsletter. All right. Well, thank you, brother. We'll see, man. I don't know. I'm not sure I subscribe to it, but if it does, I mean, that's doom time for BNB. You know, I saw Corey Lipsting or what Lipstick posting. You know, they're on a FUD mission to destroy Binance. I think these are Bitcoiners who were doing this. And I think there's a business opportunity trying to be seized here by some Bitcoiners. You don't want Binance to crash and crumble, man. But it's the same thing. Everybody's like, just like everybody's on the FTX side, right? Ooh, I've got all the alpha. I saw on Twitter, and it was liked by 30,000 people, that FTX is going to be selling all their assets. I'm going to front run it with everybody. It's the same thing here with Binance Coin. They've all been shorting it for forever down in here. They're all screaming that it's going to go breaking down to the downside. There would be the biggest short victory by the most retail investors in the history of all time if this thing breaks down. What does that tell you? Wreck them all, right? Moon Doggy Gaming says, BCB, the TradeFi cycle TA does not equal halving cycle theories. Yeah. Agree. I think the halving's stupid. I do. I mean, it's not. It's just. It ironically has shown up when it has. The Bitcoin price, the crypto market has been fully tied to TradeFi. Luis Batista says, "I wish I could meet you one day, BCB. You're my hero, bro, dude. Thanks, man. I'm just a guy. But I mean, I go to events sometimes." Gabriel. Have you looked at the LIBOR to SOFR change, and does that have any impact on the coming crash? I'm not sure what that is. I have not looked at that. Jeff, but thank you. Jeff Dubai. So you're saying we could see an alt season, even if the Dow Jones sets a lower low and Bitcoin is retracing down without a new all-time high. Jeff, I don't think you've been watching my content, sir. How long have you been watching, Jeff? You new, buddy? You new, brother? So it sounds like you still need a fundamental understanding of how crypto has behaved. There's only been altcoins tend to move and there you go. You got XRP above 48.7 right now. These types of moves, how fast they happen, that is very typical for the crypto market and for the altcoin market. All these major moves that you have happen, like this, like where XRP goes from 25 cents to over $3, or these ones right here where you're going from, less than a half of a cent and you get all the way up here to 40 cents, right? This half a cent to 6 to 7 cents is 14x. I mean, this takes like a week or two, right? This one right here that goes from 3 cents to 45 cents. This takes a week or two. The altcoin market tends to move really fast, and it moves at very specific moments in time. And this one does as well too. This takes 23 days to over 10x in here. When you go through the history of the altcoin market, compare it, which it sounds like you still need to do, brother, you will see the alt seasons never last more than like 2 to 3 months maximum ever. And they only show up at very specific times, historically speaking. They show up either into Bitcoin topping, they show up into either Bitcoin breaking out into a new all-time high after a multi-year consolidation, or they show up into a retracement of Bitcoin. It's one or the other. It's when that's when they've always shown up in. So if you're having something like this happen in here, and if Bitcoin is doing nothing more than a retrace, then it's going to be like the most epic retracement, end of cycle, end of super cycle style thing we've ever seen. Will that be it? Maybe, right? That's one of the conditions. It's only 2 conditions: retraces or all-time highs. So we'll see. If we get there, we'll see what happens, but it's one of the conditional requirements that can occur. If we get up here and we don't see the altcoins start to move, then that opens up the door that Bitcoin may be going to an all-time high, because we haven't seen the rotation out of Bitcoin into the altcoins yet. And that has marked the end of every single one of Bitcoin's moves, has been the rotation out of Bitcoin into the altcoins. So if we get up into those retracement levels, if they end up happening, then, that's the things to watch for. But I feel like I've explained that probably 100,000 times on the channel. This has been day one stuff. If the Dow Jones sets a lower low, so you're saying we could see an alt season even if the Dow Jones sets a lower low. If the Dow Jones sets a lower low, that is a major concern for all markets, including Bitcoin, including the altcoin market. Major concern. I think I've said that a dozen times too, brother. I feel like you're like trying to trap me. These are things that I say all the time. All right, thank you, man. Bill's fam, XRP. XRP breaking out the downtrend since bullish SEC news. Wait, what? XRP is breaking out of the downtrend since bullish SEC news. What SEC news was there today? I don't know. But it is nice to see XRP poking above that 48.5. We'll see if it can maintain that momentum and get a clear crack today. Joseph Wiley, I know it's frustrating for you to deal with the negativity, but don't patient investors make gains from the herd being wrong-footed? Exactly. You don't get those prices without everybody selling at lows or everybody buying tops. That's how you get the extremes. The thing is, I try to communicate that on the channel when those moments are really happening. And I've been through enough of these. So I always try different methods, right? I've been through this. I've been through C19, right? I was making YouTube videos during C19, negativity, everybody screaming, we're going lower. Finally, a little bit of optimism returns. They really get optimistic right in here. Boom, they lose it all. We're all going to the lows. You got to scream and say, no, no, no. We keep going. It's the wall of worry all the way up. And then finally, when we get up here, Elon Musk finally announces that Tesla has bought Bitcoin. And then everybody becomes euphoric and says they have to do it. And so I'm like, oh, that's it. I've hit my target. That target I made years ago and recorded on YouTube and put it all over? Hey, I just hit it. I'm selling. And so what do you get? You get the other side of it. You get the people screaming at you. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a fudster, blah, blah, blah. And that's just what it is, right? And that's what you got to look for. And so when you have the herd screaming at you that you're wrong, and you have the herd always corralled together, I try to communicate it as much as I can when I'm seeing that happen. And unquestionably, the crowd has all been herded together here. They're all looking for lower lows, even though that's based on absolutely nothing historical that is okay for Bitcoin. Nothing. They're looking for 12K based on I don't think a single one of them have done their own TA to come up with that number. You can't do that based on all of Bitcoin's historical performance. Never occurs. That would scream Doomtown. So I've tried to like shake. I want the people who watch my channel to very clearly hear what I'm saying and to recognize there's not hedging in here. There's not a waffle in my voice. There's not a piece of doubt in the things that I'm saying and the data that I'm trying to express to you. The seriousness of breaking into lower lows, that is not bullish. And that's the reason why people want it to be bullish is one, they just sell to alleviate their fear. That's the main reason why they do it. Underneath it all, it is a series of emotions and they want to relieve themselves of the pain. And so if they relieve themselves of the pain, then they can buy lower and they don't have to continue that pain anymore. And then it reverses. And so the only reason people believe it is this confirmation bias. It's just what they want to have happen because of the emotional decision that they made. They weren't making that decision up here. If they had made the decision up here, then they would be buying here. But we saw a massive liquidation, bigger than FTX, right? Bigger than FTX. And so then everybody becomes petrified at the exact same time. And then, of course, we get news that FTX is going to be selling their assets after all of this happens. Come on, guys, wake up. And so my point is just to really express it and really communicate it when we're having it happen. Because there's not going to be much time, I don't think. I think the thing is going to revert back up. Or if it breaks, right, it's not bullish. Doom Goblin Town. Doom Goblin Town is not... It is not the scenarios being presented out there that things are okay. That these major bulls who want to buy cheaper are going to get what they want. That's a break. That's bad. That's what I'm saying. Like as you said, I bought Bitcoin yesterday. I know dang well I've got my stops placed below the low. I'll get out. I'm not buying below that. That's not for me. That's bail. There's problems. So I just want to communicate it as loud and as aggressive as I can, and everybody knows my stance on it very clearly. I'm not sitting here hedging myself. This is what has to happen. That low has to hold. And if it does hold, Bitcoin's still acting like it's always acted. There's no 4-year cycle. Like, this is very clear. There's no 4-year cycle theory. There's no halving theory at all that takes you down to the lows. And if they're pointing to this, they're pointing to 2020. And if you are pointing to 2020, you are literally picking the wrong spot. God, I'm aggressive. Okay. You are at end of super cycle. And that would be an end of super cycle correction and recovery. And that's what we're using in here. End of super cycle correction and recovery. Not wave for consolidation with C19, right? Even if we were to have this, the price of Bitcoin would need to already be at like $48,000. If it went to like 48, this is what you would need. If you want to see C19 happen, here's what you need. That's C19. That's not C19. This is C19. Way up, big, huge, fat retracement. Right? Get all the way back up into the retracement levels, then pull down. You're barely off the lows, guys. Right? It's not C19, is all I'm saying. Okay, I'm moving on. I love you all. I know how many people are getting shook out of this market right now. I know how many people are combating it and how many people are cheering for it to break down. And they're not cheering for it to break down for any other reason than they want to buy lower because they got scared and they were told it was going to happen. And the problem is the place where if we go breaking up here, imagine them starting to FOMO back in right here and the dangers that all reside right in here. So many. There's very clear, right? Break new low, bad. Hold new low, fantastic. Guess what? The market capitulated. We had the most fear that we've seen, even more fear than the banking crisis, and the lows held. Bull div. So let's go. Let's go. Hit the like button for ranting BCB. But Bill's fam, XRP breaking out of the downtrend since the bullish SEC news. I don't know what that is, and I don't know what bullish SEC news you're talking about. Joseph Wiley, I know it's frustrating for you. Oh, we already did. You deal with the negativity, but don't patient investors make gains from the herd being wrong-footed? They do. They do. But this is crypto. It's the most volatile market in the world, and everybody wants to be a day trader. Pat, brother, thank you very much, man. Very generous, my dude. Sick Thinker says, I'd like to purchase a cup of coffee for you every day. Energy is fire today, BCB. I don't know. Yeah, Alpha Beta Soup says $90 WTI. I think we saw that on the front page here. U.S. crude price tops $90 a barrel. Dow up 183. S&P up 24. NASDAQ big recovery, now up 0.5%. Coinbase leading the way this morning. Oil at 90. There you go. Oil still marching up. What is interesting, let's take a look at gasoline. Gasoline, no. So where's gas? Oil, you're in November of 2022. Gasoline. Well, I guess this is where gasoline was in November of 2022. Right in this area. B says, is the 4-year cycle starting now? Here's why the 4-year cycle is silly. The last cycle was 3 years and 3 months. Think of it this way, guys. There's check this out. Oh no, I don't want that. I want all my stuff to still be here. Check this out. This cycle is 903 days. This cycle is 1,477 days, and this cycle is 1,218. As indicated by the price behavior in here. We could show that here as the RSIs fall off. Here's the peak to the next peak. Peak to the next peak. And we don't have this one, but we know how much time there is between those, right? I mean, we can see that right there. 884 days, 1,491, 1,217, right? But what you still will have, you'll have stubborn people say, no, that's it, because it went slightly higher. But it's just the corrective structure. The cycle ended here. And the altcoins show it to you too. Go look at XRP, go look at Doge, go look at Litecoin, go look at Stellar Lumens, go look at Dash, go look at Zcash, go look at like 95% of the altcoins. They all peak here, right? Show me one of these cycles, these 4-year cycles, where the altcoins aren't peaking here at the top. Show me it. It's because the peak of the market happened in here. And it confused the market, even confused me on why that would happen, right? I had the top figured out, but why were the altcoins not going? Because a totally crazy peaking style of market happening in here, right? And to have to accept, right? And that's just what we have to do, is go back and accept. This was the peak of the market. YOLO, Laser Eyes, Diamond Hands, Dogecoin, Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. all of that was this Wall Street bets. Stimulus checks up the wazoo. Everybody getting free money for staying at home and plowing it into stocks and Robinhood and crypto exchanges. This was the peak of the market. And we see that represented in here. And we see how that those stochastic RSIs fall off in here and how much time elapses between here. That this is a 1,217 day bull market, or peak to peak, not bull market, peak to peak. The bull market's only like 3-4 months, right? That's here. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? That's it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the whole bull market right there, and it ends right here. Right? So 1,217, 1,491, 884. Absolutely no one who has this four-year cycle theory, don't you dare bring up 2011 to 2013 to them, because it doesn't match their narrative. They're like, no, we have to look at 2013 to 2017. That's our narrative. And yes, every indicator said it here, but we had the technical top here. So they're so committed to it. They're so committed. That's why you got the 12K stuff. You got all this ridiculousness, because they're so committed to this. The data point is very clear. All the on-chain data is very clear. That's the peak of your market. I mean, you don't even have to use any common sense. I mean, just common sense. Wall Street bets, laser eyes, diamond hands, Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live. It all tells you that was peak euphoria of the market. The market peaked there. All you needed was one little one-day wick that would have gone up a little bit higher and then crashed, and everybody would be in agreement. But since there's not this one, where was the parabola? Where was the parabolic ending? If you had one day of one wick that would have gone like 10K higher and then stumbled down, everybody would be in agreement. This was it, because every indicator tells it to you. All the indicators on the charts tell you that was the peak. All the on-chain indicators tell you it was the peak. And even all the financial indicators tell you it was the peak. When we even look at things like this, you look at this is where the market drained. The market drained from back over here. So what we see is there's not 4-year cycles. These aren't 4 years. That's not. This is like the biggest nail in the coffin for 4-year cyclers is that. 2011 to 2013. Why does that one never get brought up? Because it only shows up if you're looking at like the Brave New Coin Liquid Index charts. The one that has the most historical data over here on TradingView is Bitstamp, and it only goes back to 2011. It doesn't show us the bull run that ended right here in this crash, and it doesn't show us the leading up to that. So this is the chart that's always shown everywhere you look. They don't want to show this one because that's not a 4-year cycle. That's 884 days. How much is that? 884 divided by 365. 2.5 years. So you have a 2.5-year cycle, 4-year cycle, 3-year and 4-month cycle. All extremely inconsistent, but what are they consistent with? Macro markets. Liquidity flows happening in macro markets. And so what are we seeing, right? We're talking about markets turning, we're talking about Bitcoin turning, we're seeing liquidity flows back, right? This is the drainage, right? This is the drainage of money out of markets, right? This is going into the reverse repo facility, right? Money going into the Fed, right? Oh no, that's the end. Now money peaks in the reverse repo facility and pulling down. Peak, bottom, meh. So I don't, when your question is this the start of the 4-year, is the 4-year cycle starting now? If what you haven't paid attention to, and unfortunately for a lot of people, is even if it is a 4-year cycle, it started here. It started almost a year ago. And that's going to be the hard thing for a lot of people. Every move up, they're going to think it's crashing to 12K. And then what's going to happen is it's going to be just, if it ends up playing out, I'm just trying to tell you what it was like being here. Nobody thought it was. And so when it finally broke out and started going, and it was like, okay, cool, we're getting really close to my targets for me to be selling my Bitcoin. BCB, how could you do that? We just started. And it's like, no, we didn't start. We started a long time ago. You just were scared the whole time. And this is not to pick on UB. This is to point out the phrasing of the question. Is the 4-year cycle starting now? If it's going to remain consistent with how Bitcoin has behaved, it's that it's been going on already. It's not starting now. It's been going on. So, all right. I'm way too feisty. We're going to get through this quick. But you guys are going crazy with the members, so maybe I do need to bring the boxing gloves every day. Thank you, B. I've shown you everything. You decide for that for yourself. For me, the thing that would be the most dangerous thing for Bitcoin would be setting a new low. The most dangerous thing for all markets. If you see the Dow Jones Industrial Average go break into a new low, which it's up 230 points today, hip, hip, hooray. If you see the Dow break into a new low, I think, what was the number? 33,600, I think. That's the scary number. If you see Bitcoin break into a new low, those things in conjunction, probably bad sign for the altcoin market as well. That's just not things that you should be seeing in bullish trends for Bitcoin. And unfortunately, a lot of people think that everything would still be bullish if it did, but to me, it would not. All right, I'm moving on. Eric, my brother, thank you. 702 crew coming in hot. Andy Philpott with 5 as well, man. Thank you guys so much. And Oscar, I appreciate it. Eric, you doubled down again, man. Thank you. And Pat, you guys, man, too kind. It's a good Thursday. 925 likes for feisty BCB today. And what am I at? An hour and 21. Atticus Rex says you are rocking it today, my friend. Really? Man. John Biddle, somebody get BCB a spicy V8. All right, you could be honest and okay, I need it in the chat. Very honest. Thumbs up for spicy. That you're okay with it. Thumbs down. You prefer like gentle BCB. I will take the criticism or the feedback appropriately. Thumbs up. You're okay with it. And I get it. You can't do this every day. I don't want to be a jerk every day, but I can at least like really express who I am when I feel a certain way. Okay. Not bad. I'm okay with the thumbs down. It's okay. But there are none. That's not fair because the thumbs down people probably go left. They're like, F this. I'm out. All right. Thanks, guys. Anyway, I don't know. I show you all the data. You make your own decisions on what you see. The biggest thing is for me not to come on here and pretend I have some special indicators or I have some special secret formulas that I've put together. Everything that I express an opinion on, it's because I show you the exact data on why I feel the way I did. Maybe you come to a different conclusion based on what you see. But you see everything that I see, and all the data, everything. I try to present it to you. Go for it. Make your own calls. You want to go for 12K? By all means, have a great time. Go for it. It's just my thoughts that I don't think you're going to get it unless there's absolute doom in the market. So here we go. I got PT. Oh, she brought another iced coffee, guys. Uh-oh. I'm at an hour and 23 minutes. I'm supposed to wrap this up. Okay. All right. Bitcoin, 26,700. Let's see. Dow, man, loving it. There you go. So hopefully we can end the week tomorrow too with a big fat green candle coming in for tomorrow too, to get things really going as well. And then we'll head into next week, the exciting week, where we'll see how the market goes. That euphoria. Hopefully it's on its way. Alpha Beta Soup says Bitcoin through the 200 on the 4 hour. There you go. Yep. Gary Guan says I sold my house yesterday. Alpha Trader, I love it when the bees. Tate added the BIB Tate's attitude comes out. Well, thank you. Yeah, I was messaging Eric and I was telling him that. I was like, I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time creating content because I'm so passionate about this. I feel like I'm being a jerk. I better go eat. And he's like, well, go eat. And then I was like, but you know, sometimes people do like it when I rant. And he's like, they love it. And I'm like, yeah, but all right. Man, Chris Edwards says, man, this chat compared to Monday. Well, yeah, there's everything compared to Monday. Monday was likely capitulation. So I hope you document that. I hope people documented it, man. I know that Blockchain Trucker doesn't write in his emotional log, but he sure makes his little rant videos on Twitter. So he can go back and look at that. Let me go watch my rant video. What was I saying? Let it burn. Thank you, Dune. Break out the frog. All right. Well, guys, so here's what we got. You got Bitcoin on the move. You got you got the whole market in the green. A couple of them aren't. Stellar's not in the green, but you got really the whole market's in the green, and you got the stock market in the green. Waiting for next week, up 225 for the Dow. Boy, NASDAQ really recovered. Remember earlier, Dow, everything was green at the opening, but then the NASDAQ went slightly red while the Dow was up 0.5%. Now the Dow's up 2/3%, but the NASDAQ has not only recovered that being down, it's now up 0.75%. It's bypassed even the Dow, with the S&P being up 2/3% as well. Leader of the day, let's go. Coinbase, man, take it all day. Let's rock. It's not ranting, it's passion, baby boy. Yeah, Tanner, there you go. That's correct. That's what it is. It's passion. The not enough frogs. The NEF BCB chart is crazy right now. NEF equals not enough frogs. Mitman, member for 3 months, says, I love it. Keep bringing the heat, my brother. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So, I mean, this is kind of the thing we're waiting on. I'm going to be writing a newsletter today. But, you know, when it comes to price action in here, oops. Nope. There we go. Likely, I don't know. I mean, I hope it breaks out and goes and rocks and roll. But I do have my expectations on imagining it. I'm going to just say this. Like, imagining it being like this. I don't think it'll look just like that at all. But I know it's nice to see the big green today. But it doesn't mean, you know, we can't just keep waddling kind of sideways action until finally working out of here. So just kind of keeping that in my thoughts right now until something significant were to happen. As if like we just fired up and got to 30K again or something like that. 30K. If that was the case, then I'd think like bull flag, gone. Not that high, but you know. So either way, I think we're just going to celebrate right now for anybody who did not let loose at the lows a couple of days ago. That the market has bounced from there. It's nice to see it happening. And we held the lows. I think the thing that I like the most about it is that the fear and greed index did hit levels of here. Just so you know, that's how low the fear and greed index went. It went lower than the banking crisis. It went down into here to January 10th levels. And I could even feel that. I could feel that extreme, you know, like it was talking about, you kind of feel it in your gut. I feel a little sick to your stomach when it's happening, but you have to you're always going to feel that. You're always going to feel that kind of sick to your stomach feeling, just like Ryan Selkis had posted. He says, feeling that existential depression. You're always going to feel the euphoria and the excitement at the peaks. Those things will always happen. It's just how you respond to them. And we had that happen. We had the fear and greed index. We had the low hold. That's what's super exciting to see prices bouncing out of there. So rock on. So, all right. I don't get it. How did the BIB? Oh, C. I see it. Alpha Trader is C. Okay, like the eyeballs are looking. They're seeing. I get it. B, C, B. I get it. Demetrius Caston says, what do you think about QNT? I get asked that probably every week. I don't have any strong opinions. I don't own any. Let's see if there's still some drawings on here from last time we talked about it. No. I think one of the things that had made me nervous about QNT, and still to this day, it's holding. Like, you've seen all the market come down here. Even things like Matic, which were holding up really well at those same levels. Right? They finally went and got down into there, down to those July levels. QNT has just still held it. I just don't trust it up here, when the rest of the market has all gone and said hello down here. It's the only one just dangling that won't do it. Another thing that has always left me uneasy with QNT. See if we still have this. We do. This is the last time we talked about it. QNT, how high is Bitcoin up since the C19 crash? Just pick the low. Since C19, Bitcoin is up 591%. The depths of C19. Since the depths of C19, QNT at its current location is up 6,284% still. Let's see how deep of a correction this was. Let's measure that. That might give us a little bit of a better clue. That's a pretty good crash. 90%. That's typical. You know, typically anywhere between 90 to 96%. Even in 2018, Cardano, if you don't know this, Cardano did 99. And went from over $1 to like 2 cents, less than 2 cents, like to 1.7 cents is what Cardano did. And then went above $3. 99% crash for Cardano. And then full recovery back to all-time highs. That was my big ticket winner. As my second largest holding was Cardano. Of course, XRP was my number one. Cardano was my number two. Thank God. But, you know, 90 to 95 is typical. It's, you know, it's there. I don't know. It's hard for me to obviously say anything about it with it's just drifting and like threatening. Hey, do I want to do what the rest of the market has done? I've been teasing it for 6 months, but I won't do it. Whereas the rest of the market will. So I don't know. It's not for me right now until like something felt more comfortable with it. And then Alpha Trader with the BCB, my bro. Thank you. All right, guys. We are 1 hour and 32 minutes into this. We have exceeded 1,000 likes today. That's good. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you guys, 702 crew, everybody who participated, everybody, the new members. Welcome. If you got some green on your name, thank the guys who hooked you up. Thank you to all the new members. Thank you for you guys for hooking up everybody. Support, super chats, and just participating in here. Thanks for the support and being cool with letting me be me. You know, you don't really know when you come on here. Do you want to just like not stir the pot, or do you just want to just tell it like it is? Some people can't take it like it is, but you guys seem to want it that way. So, all right, I appreciate it, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this thing up, and then check in with you guys again tomorrow. I want to thank you all so much for watching. It does mean a lot to me. I really appreciate it. And if you could, of course, if you haven't liked the video yet, please like this video. Please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, if you're just tuning in and seeing this phenomenal content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a great one, you guys. Bye.